The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
With so many people living longer, the fear of outliving your money becomes a reality for many of us. Will I be a financial burden? Will I outlive my money? How will I be remembered? My name is Neil Himmelstein, president of Main Street Planning Group. Please contact me by visiting mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. I will introduce you to strategies that will guarantee you will not outlive your money, that can guarantee you will not be a burden on your loved ones. Through a collaborative approach, we will uncover solutions that offer tax-efficient strategies, lifetime income, and legacy planning, choice, organization, direction, and education. That is the code we stand behind. Contact mainstreetplanninggroup.com. That's mainstreetplanninggroup.com, or call 631-647-4694. And listen to me every Friday at 3 p.m. as I host the Main Street Code for Financial Success, right here on 103.9 LI News Radio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I'm here every Friday, 3 o'clock. And when we talk about our code, we talk about choice, organization, direction, and education. And we help hundreds of advisors across the United States with insurance planning. That includes attorneys, accountants, other insurance professionals, with regards to life insurance, annuities, disability, long-term care, and life settlements, all the things that you need to protect your financial future and make sure that you can't outlive your income. Today I was talking to somebody whose mother fell and broke her hip. And he also told me his friend, who's a firefighter, fell the other day and broke his back. And what happened to both of them is they ended up in rehab. Now, rehab is a very interesting thing because Medicare, if you're deemed medically necessary, will pay for up to 100 days in rehab. 100 days. But Medicare is constantly evaluating. They want to kick you out as quick as they can because they really don't want to pay for that coverage. It's expensive. But if you need that 100 days and you're still in that facility, day 101, the bill is $600 a day. No getting around it. Semi-private room on Long Island, $600 a day. And I got to tell you, I've been through some of these rehab centers, and the staffing is difficult. Everyone there is there because they're typically older, but sometimes not, but mostly older people who've had health issues, that are in pain, that are screaming for help. You're in a semi-private room with somebody who could have Alzheimer's or could be in just a lot of pain themselves or could be older. It's a complete lack of privacy and everything else. It's noisy. It's upsetting. You're like in a dorm room. And then you're there for another month, and it's $600 a day. Get that through. You're going to get a bill for $18,000. Now you say, I don't want to go to that place. I don't want, but sometimes it happens. Nobody wants to go there. Okay? But you're in rehab, you broke a hip, now it's $600 a day. Now, I don't know how many people after they hit retirement age are making $600 a day. So they go through your assets. And they go through your assets at $600 a day continuously until you get on Medicaid, which means you spend all your assets. Then they just take your income. Now, this is a horrible, horrible situation. This is no way to treat people, but this is the current system. The problem is most people think, I'll self-insure. It's not going to happen to me. Or I've got plenty of assets, until they get that bill and they realize they're spending $18,000 a month, $216,000 for a year. Now, if you're in retirement and you've done really well and you've saved up, let's say, and you have a rainy day fund of $100,000 or $200,000 or maybe $500,000, how long is your rainy day fund going to last, and how is that going to affect everyone else in your family? I hate to be doom and gloom, but this is reality. We've never planned for this. This is the reality. And this is not a luxury room at, downtown Manhattan or some vacation resort. This is a semi-private room where somebody's going to feed you, hopefully. Maybe if maybe have to change your diaper. Sorry. This is no way to live. So you want to go home. Okay, great. They want you home. They don't want to pay for this. Medicare doesn't want to pay for this. Okay? Well, who's going to take care of you in your home? Who's going to have you, help you take a bath or change you or, rehabilitate you and get you to walk if that's the case, and get you to eat? You might have to hire somebody, and that's very expensive. Okay? Or you may be relying on a child. I don't care if it's an adult child or a young child. I mean, if it's an adult child, they may have to change their entire life to work around you. Even to visit you every day, they may have to leave work home just to visit you in that place, which I know a lot of people do and are very dedicated, and they may be missing work just to do that. Or maybe they bring you into their home, and then they have to do some of the caregiving. And that detracts from everything else in their life. You have to prepare for this. You got to prepare for the worst case scenario, because most people say, everything goes along, and then all of a sudden they're hit with this, okay, let me get my Medicaid application in. Medicaid application process, and I know people who've done it themselves or tried to do it themselves, could take 6 months, 9 months for them to even approve you. It's a horrible process. It's difficult. You need to hire an attorney. If you're trying to do it yourself, forget about it. Your head's gonna spin. I would never even attempt to do it myself. So you got to go out and you hire an attorney. It's still going to take time. They still got to go through a lot of rigmarole to get you to that point where Medicaid will cover you. Not Medicare, Medicaid. You only get Medicaid when you impoverish yourself. Think about that. Their government is only going to step in after you get rid of all your assets or spend all your assets. Now, if you do proper planning with an attorney, you can move your assets, set assets up in trust well before this event ever occurs. But you have to plan. You can't just wait. Oh, by the way, I didn't know you were going to fall down a flight of stairs. My grandmother lived to 98 years old. She was born in 1898. She had her own house and she had tenants. She fell down her stairs to the basement. They were a dark, horrible thing at 93 years old. She slipped. She fell down the stairs. She climbed up those stairs with her fingernails and her elbows and came up the stairs at 93 years old with her fingernails and her elbows. Not everybody can do that. Otherwise, she would have been in this dark basement with nobody there. Luckily, she had a cane nearby, knocked over the phone. They weren't digital back then, and was able to call my mother. But that was the last day she lived in her home. The last day. It was downhill from there. Other than that, sound mind, strong-willed, strong, Russian woman, had her own business. She didn't plan for all this. but it happens. And the longer we live, the more likelihood it's going to happen to us. And does happen. So all I'm saying is, this is something you need to prepare for. And when we get back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit more about how you can prepare for this eventuality. You're listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. My name is Neil Himmelstein. Best way to get a hold of me is 631-647-4694. I welcome your questions and comments. Thank you. Welcome back to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I hate to talk about gloom and I really do. I like to talk about happy things. But after rehab and that you start getting into that 600 hours a day, that's got to dig deep into everybody's financial pocketbook. And then there's that emotional toll on the rest of your family. What are they doing? And it's an emotional toll on you. I mean, who wants to sit in this environment, in this dorm room, spending all this money when you're not having a good time? It ain't a good time. Unfortunately, it's not pleasant. So, I want to talk about my father's situation. Another situation. He had a bad back and neck. I mean, my God, my father was a semi-pro soccer player. He was going to go pro. This was back in the 40s when he was starting his veterinary practice, but he couldn't travel. So he never went pro. He played tennis every day till he was like 60, 65 years old. Guy was a physical specimen. I mean, I'm jealous. Actually, my son was watching videos of him playing tennis, and he said, "My God, Papa Mo, you got a six-pack." I said, "A six-pack? Look at me, I got a keg." Anyhow, I thought that was funny. I don't know if he got it or he didn't. Subtle humor. My dad had disintegrated discs in his neck and his back. It left him almost paralyzed in his older ages. Severely arthritic. My mom ended up driving him around with his wheelchair and everything else. And to the point where it made my mom sick. She couldn't lift him out of the tub and all kinds of issues. She passed away before him. And my father's strong-willed and kept going around on his motorized thing. Had to hire people to change him, to wash him, to do everything else. Fortunately, he was able to stay in his home, not in the best conditions, but he staved it off and had assets and was okay. Funny story about my dad, who had an incredible sense of humor and was a funny guy. I took him to a convention in Baltimore. I was president of a National Association of Financial Advisors, and we would lobby every year in Washington, D.C., and this one particular year we had our convention in Baltimore, and we're going back and forth to Washington, so I said, let me bring my dad. He was older, in a wheelchair, and we're going around the convention, and he says, you go ahead, and, I'll hang out. And he's like in the middle of the aisle. These conventions where we had different insurance companies talking about their products and services, and here's my dad, and he just sitting there in his wheelchair in the middle of the conference center, and another guy comes up in a wheelchair to him. Hey, how you doing? They started. My father would talk to everybody. It was unbelievable. My father, it didn't matter what walk of life, anybody knew my dad, knew he just was empathetic, would talk to people, and he just had this way about him that was just unbelievable. Anyhow, the guy goes up to my dad and he says, I got a wheelchair, blah, blah, blah. He says, I'm lucky. He says, I can still, this guy was severely diabetic. He says, I can still walk with a cane, and I can get up and go to the bathroom. My dad says, that's nothing. I got a diaper. I go anytime I want. That was my dad. But it wasn't a great way of living. Anyhow, so things happen to us as we get older. Things get expensive. We need care. And as an insurance professional, there are a couple things that you need to do to prepare yourself for this eventuality which happens. I'm sorry The percentages happens to over 75% of the people. 70% of the people is the insurance number that they use. That's only the ones that they know about that are on claim, not the ones at home that aren't hitting up insurance companies. They're saying 70%. And if you're a couple, one of you, there's a 90% chance that one of you will need care. It's inevitable. The longer we live, the more care we're going to need. It's inevitable. And we're going to have to pay out of our own pocket, or we can insure it and rely on an insurance company to help us pay those bills. Okay, yes, you need to take legal action and protect your assets. That's part A. And in conjunction, if you can, and you're not too far gone, or you don't have like severe impairments, or you're not too old, you need to buy some sort of long-term care protection insurance. It's commonly called long-term care. Or now they have hybrid long-term care policies, that a combination of life insurance and long-term care, which I love, by the way. And there's all kinds of various combinations to help you cover this eventual expense. Now, when they started doing this thing, the costs were only $200 to $300 a day. Now it's $600 a day just for a semi-private room. It's out of control. So they didn't understand the costs. And when they started in the insurance world with this 35 years ago, they assumed that you'd only be needing a claim for 2 to 3 years. And still, most claims are 2 to 3 years. But there are some claims, and a growing number, that are 6 years. Or if you have a mental impairment, Alzheimer's and whatnot, which is more prevalent than ever, and they can keep you alive longer than ever, it's like 14 years you could be on claim. So you think about that $600 a day, folks. And you think about, can I last that many years? And even if I'm wealthy, do I want to pay all that money out of my pocket to have somebody take care of me? Am I going to rely on my spouse to take care of me? Let me tell you something. You rely on your spouse to take care of you. That's all well and good, but now all of a sudden they're prisoner to you. They have to stay home with you and watch you and feed you. And is that what you want to do to your spouse? Or do you want them hanging around with you all day? Maybe you want somebody. Let them go out and do shopping. Let them have a life also. Don't be greedy and selfish and say, well, I'm going to self-insure. Isn't that great? Honey, I've made all this money. Well, guess what? You're putting them under tremendous stress. My mom was under tremendous stress to the point where she was 7 years younger than my father and the healthy one, and she passed years before him. Why? Taking care of him put that much stress and burden on her life that she passed before him. Think about that. The stress and burden on that caregiver is tremendous. So don't be selfish and say, so they're going to take care of me, even if they're the nicest person in the world and your soulmate and everything else. Maybe they can't. Maybe they want to. But think of the burden you'll be on them. Or relying on your children. You know, children have a life too. Or all of a sudden they're going to change their life, move in with you, you're going to move in with them, they're going to have children, not pay attention to their children, not be able to afford college for their children because they're paying for your expenses. Is that what you want? So there's a way of avoiding all this. Sit down with us. Let us figure out a plan that works for you, that protects your family, that protects your next generation, that protects you and your spouse. That's what we do. Insurance is a big role in all of this. Yes, there are legal things you can do to help you. The legal things only help you impoverish yourself. I don't want you to be impoverished. I want you to live and have a happy, great life and not be able to have enough income that you never have to worry about it. That's like the biggest worry, is outliving your income. We can protect that income through various methods. Long-term care insurance, hybrids help do that. Annuities help pay for an income for the rest of your life. This is how we do it. A combination of things that are going to help you. You've been listening to the Main Street Code for Financial Success. I'm your host, Neil Himmelstein. I am the president and owner of Main Street Planning Group, and I'm happy to help you with any questions, any comments, or your own personal things. Give me a call, 631-647-4694. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.